Good morning, it's James. I do hope and pray this message finds you and your loved ones peaceful, thriving, and well. Thank you for your time and thank you for your energy. I think today's topic should hopefully get many of you to share in the comments section what it means for you to live a spiritual life. One of my favorite authors and favorite spiritual teachers is a guy named Jack Kornfield. You may have heard of him. He's a Buddhist teacher, and he wrote a book called A Path with Heart, and it is such a beautiful book. I've got dog ears all over, underlines and highlights, and one of the things he says, which I think is so beautiful, he said, much of the spiritual life is self-acceptance. Much of the spiritual life is self-acceptance. And then he has a dash, and he says, perhaps all of it. Perhaps all of it. And I think for me, as I look at my practice of spirituality more and more these days, maybe 20, 30 years ago, I wouldn't have answered it that way. I would have thought about all the different things, sort of the tactics, the practices. So meditation, mindfulness stuff, just kind of clicking off the things on the to-do list. And it's really interesting as I've kind of been evolving in my practice over the last 40 years, since I've been really, I think, dedicated to a spiritual practice. It seems like more and more, everything I do, whether it's meditation, whether it's putting plants in my body, whether it's going outside and getting in nature and doing my forest bathing, which I do every single day, whether it's being present, all of these things do come back to self-acceptance, every single one of them. And when you give yourself the opportunity to look at your own life right now, and you think about your spiritual life and how it is hopefully very much integrated into your whole life, isn't it interesting that throughout your day, as you're navigating different experiences, so much of our ability to be present, to be kind, to be generous, to be compassionate, to be awake is really coming down to self-acceptance. We constantly are bringing ourselves back to the moment. And in that moment, the ability to do so all hinges on self-acceptance. I would love and really appreciate if every single one of you who have been a part of this experience this morning, maybe talk a little bit about your self-acceptance. What's the one practice that you have that brings you to self-acceptance? If you have a challenge with self-acceptance, maybe you can just share that in this community. Oh my gosh, we are all lovers of supporting one another. And maybe there's an opportunity for you to share something where you could use us, all of us, one of us, may have an opportunity to share what they think could be helpful, sharing their own experience of working through some pain, working through some dark night, working through something where once they were evolving into an experience where self-acceptance became a linchpin for so many more experiences of being spiritual in this lifetime, we'll share those too. And I'd love to leave you with this. Each and every moment of your life is going to ask heroic things of you if you are determined to continually evolve on your spiritual path. And being accepting of oneself, where we are, what we're working on, what we're doing is some of the greatest work and oftentimes some of the most beautiful, hard work of our life. But I think we get an opportunity to step back and say, what if I was just a student of self-acceptance? And where I saw there was opportunity for growth there, a greater level of unconditional acceptance, what does it look like to me? And how do I give myself permission to begin as a student? Someone who's open to the evolution and the revolution of this spiritual life, being built on this beautiful practice that begins every moment of every day and throughout every moment of every day. How willing and how well are we open to accepting ourselves? All of us, all of ourselves. The part of ourselves that's hard to accept sometimes. The part of ourselves that is difficult to see sometimes. And then the parts that are just beautiful and peaceful and loving, easily self-accepting of ourselves. All of this is the beautiful work of our life. And I just would love for you to consider, how willing are you to lean into this practice with all of your life, with all of your heart, with all of your acceptance? I really want you to know how much I appreciate you. I love messages like today for myself, because when I leave this time with you, I will go out in the world and I'll do my very best to continually say, how is your acceptance? How is your wholeness? How is your love? How is your openness? Over and over again. I see you, I love you, and I appreciate you. Thank you for your time today, and thank you for being you. Peace and love. Bye for now.